Middle School, happy Thursday. It is time for another library lesson with me, of course. And what we are going to do today, we are going to continue on learning more about poetry because, as I mentioned earlier this month, April is National Poetry Month. So far we've done the blackout poetry and we've done a few other little things, but we are going to spend some time now focusing on the variety of poetry that exists in the world. So we are going to learn one by one about specific types of poems that exist, and then maybe we'll be writing our own. The first type of poem that we're going to learn about this week is called a limerick. A limerick is a fun or funny poem that has 5 lines and it follows a specific rhyme pattern. Lines 1, 2, and 5 rhyme with each other, while lines 3 and 4 rhyme with one another. Here is an example of a limerick. Every day I sit in the same place, thinking of how much I miss your face. I'm sad there's no school. This really isn't cool. I wish we were in the same space. The next type of poem that we are reviewing today is called a haiku. A haiku is a really unique Japanese type of poetry that's typically about nature or the seasons. In these poems there are 3 lines and each line has a specific number of syllables. Line 1, you will notice there are 5 syllables, line 2 has 7 syllables, and line 3 again has 5 syllables for a total of 17 syllables. Here is an example of a haiku. I am first with 5, then 7 in the middle, 5 again to end. The easiest way that you can count to make sure you are using the correct amount of syllables when creating a haiku is just by clapping. As an example, the first line in this poem is I am first with 5. I am first with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I clapped 5 times, which means that line has 5 syllables. Alright, the next type of poem we are going to explore is called a cinquain. A cinquain is like a limerick in that it has 5 lines, but in a cinquain, each line of the poem has more words than the previous line, except for the last line. So line 1 would have your name or the name of what your poem is about. Line 2 would have 2 describing words. Line 3 would have 3 action words. And line 4 would have some information about how you're feeling with 4 or more words. Line 5 then only has the title in a synonym, a different way of saying it at the very end. Here is an example of a cinquain poem. Dogs, furry, friendly, barking, fetching, playing. A friend when you need one. Pets. The next type of poem we are going to review is called a biopoem. A biopoem does contain very specific words and information, but it is a poem about yourself for you to share part of who you are. With a biopoem, depending on where you research, it'll give you different information about what exactly you should include. For the purpose of this assignment, your poem will have 12 lines. Line 1 will contain only your first name. Line 2 will say who is and then include descriptive words about yourself. Line 3 is about who writes about, and then you will include 3 things. Number 4 is who loves, and so on and so on. Let me give you an example of how I did mine. Janine, who is determined, dedicated, resourceful, who writes about her family, friends, and experiences, who loves working out, reading, and writing, who feels excited, useful, and vibrant, who says you can have anything you are willing to work for, who gives her heart and soul into everything she does, who thinks more people should see their potential, who enjoys listening to music and dancing, whose parents are non-existent. King. Next type of poem I'm going to be reviewing with you is something you all are probably familiar with. It's an acrostic poem. I'm sure that in some point of your lives you have all done an acrostic poem. An acrostic poem is where you use the letters in a topic word to begin each line, and as a reminder, all of the lines of the poem should relate or describe the word in the poem. Take a look at this simple example of an acrostic poem. I'm using the word sun, and the first line is sun shines brightly. It starts with the letter S. Next line, up in the sky, starts with the letter U, and the last line, nice and warm on my face, starting with the letter N. The first letter of each line of my poem uses a letter to spell the word sun. The last type of poem I'm reviewing is the one that's probably more common and most of you are more aware of because a lot of times you can find it in children's books. These are rhyming poems. A rhyming poem can be about any topic, but you will find lines that rhyme at the end in groups of 2, 3, or 4, and sometimes even more than that. Here is a small example. My name is Miss Janine. I've been living quarantine. It's really quite annoying. Being social is my thing. Okay, just to review, we learned about 6 different types of poem today. Limericks, haikus, cinquain, biopoems, acrostic poems, and rhyming poems. Alright, last thing, we're going to go over your actual assignment. Your job this week is to pick any one type of poem that we reviewed this week. The first thing you're going to do is write your own version of that type of poem. You will notice some guidelines in Google Classroom. Then you will research and share one additional fact about the type of poem that you chose that I did not share in my video. Alright, there it is. So now we have learned about many different types of poetry that exist. Make sure you are following the instructions in Google Classroom as they are. If you are having problems remembering things or thinking of things, you can rewatch this video as many times as you want or need to get the instructions down packed. I have outlined for you exactly what you are supposed to do step by step to help you to be successful with this assignment. So I can't wait to see what you come up with.